Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
Hey, everybody, we are in love with Next Issue. Let me tell you what Next Issue is. It is truly a game-changing app. It's like Netflix for magazines, all your favorite magazine titles with unlimited and instant access all in one place and right at your fingertips. All the latest issues, even back issues. They've got everything, don't they, boys?
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know what I read this morning? Entertainment Weekly, my favorite magazine.
Good for you.
Keep ahead of the curve,
I
right?
went on the app and I said, okay, there's no way they have Fast Company. I paid for Fast Company to come to my house. No more. I've got it on my iPad. I downloaded it. It's right in front of me. I got the latest issue right there. Fast Company is on Next Issue.
Perfect.
For the price of a couple of magazines at a newsstand, you can have everything that's on the newsstand with no limits. That is no lie. You can explore your favorite topics with instant searches, plus digital extras you won't find anywhere else. And Mrs. O'Mara is very excited about getting rid of the clutter.
Yes.
We're talking Vanity Fair, People, Us Weekly, Rolling Stone. It goes on and on and on. Explore your favorite topics with instant searches, plus digital extras you won't find anywhere else. This is students we're talking about here. If you want to have the whole database of magazine articles, here's what I want you to do. It gets even better. Go to nextissue.com/TMOS and sign up today for your first month free and 50% off Next Issue's most popular premium brand for the next 2 months. This is a great deal, but it's only available in the U.S. by going to nextissue.com/TMOS and signing up today. That's nextissue.com/TMOS.
Available on demand every day in iTunes and the Google Play Store and around the world on MikeO'MaraShow.com. What more can we do for you? It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
It's Wednesday.
All day.
And we all know what that means, everybody. How's everybody? Oscar, how are you doing? You seem a little mopey today. What's the
I'm not
problem?
mopey.
You
It's just
seem
allergies.
You were silent in the beginning of the show. And you're
I'm
normally
writing emails
barking. You're barking commands at us, and you're usually telling
no.
us at least what to do. You're never not being particularly friendly ever, but I mean you're actually barking commands at people.
No, I'm
He's
just
nice
taking
later
care,
in the day.
taking care of business. Some advertisers wrote us some questions, and I'm just writing them back.
Is it a bad thing?
Everything's
Your
good. Yeah,
face
no, this
looks,
is good. This is good for everything.
Really?
Well, the questions were like, what, states and capitals?
No,
or?
they were thanking us, and I was thanking them quickly just to get it out of the way.
Very nice.
Done
That's
deal.
very, very
Someone
nice.
has to do that. If someone else would like to do that, I'd love that.
Oh, see, there you go. See, there's the snark. There's the put upon, the struggle, Rob. That's the struggle that
He lives
he's going
for the struggle.
through.
If it was simply a matter of saying thank you, I know I could handle that. If it gets more technical than that, don't know that I can.
I could say thank you. I'd love to say thank you.
Mike.
I say thank you to 25, 30 people a day, listener-wise.
How about Mike?
Listener-wise.
Let's take this moment to issue a blanket thank you statement from you.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'd like to thank everybody in any way, shape, or form, even the people that have given me a hard time. Thank you for just caring enough.
Oh, that is sweet.
That's true.
That is so sweet.
I'm lying. I'm lying.
That's nice.
Oh, BS. Let's open up the birthdays because it's not about us, guys. It's never about us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One time.
It's all about you. Tighter, brighter for your listening pleasure. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy birthday to Crystal Young. Now, that sounds like if that's not a name that could be played on country music stations across the country, I don't know what it is.
How about Janie Frick?
Janie Frick. Yes, you remember that. You go back all the way to my early days at WOHN.
I do love that.
When program director Jim Randall hotlined me in the studio as one of my baby DJ shifts when I said, that was Janie Frick, and I see the hotline and I pick it up. Boy, that's Fricky. If you want to work at this radio station, I'm not going to have to come down here and put your headphones on. You better know how to pronounce these artists. And I'm like, this is a fun business I got into.
Nothing better than being in an air studio, and when the hotline would ring, what they would do is they would jam paper into the bell of a phone. Mm-hmm. So when the hotline rang, you'd hear... Bad sound.
See me in my office after the show. What did I do? I want to be on the radio. Happy birthday to Crystal Young, now 9 years into her douchebag 30s. Oh, wow, pretty soon she's going to have to flip over to the 40s. We have the douchebag 30s, but we don't have a name for the 40s. The life has passed me by 40s.
That's right.
Oh, that is just
Thought
depressing.
it'd be better than this now, 40s.
Soon she'll have to change her last name. So that's it because she's not young. I get it. Hello, I would like to officially submit my birthday request for TMOS. I will be turning 31 on May 7th. I have an hour and a half commute from Richmond to Charlottesville every day. And Does that tell you how the 95 corridor is for anybody that knows their Virginia geography? I mean, Richmond to Charlottesville, and it's an hour and a half.
But I will
that should
tell
be
you
that
this.
should be a 35-minute commute.
Mike, those are two of the greatest cities in America.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's
I agree.
great when you get to either one of them.
So it's from Richmond to Charlottesville every day, and your show with Big O and Dukes keeps me sane.
That's
How
sweet.
about that? Isn't that something? Thanks, guys. Huge fan since 1996. That comes from Joe Daly. Here's our next letter. On April 22nd, my wife Jeannie and I.
Jeannie
and I.
Hey, Jeannie.
Hey, Jeannie. Jeannie, you want to see me walk around my house with my cowboy hat naked? Jeannie? Hey, Jeannie. Well, we're celebrating 20 years of wedded bliss. Well, 20 years of being wed anyway. Oh, that's nasty.
Oh, well.
It's nasty. She says it won't end in divorce. Gunplay maybe, but not divorce. We would love to hear it mentioned in your bag.
Our bag.
Well, thank you, Jason Bird. We hope that you give your wife all of you, okay? Give her all of the bird.
Oh.
Hey, you know what?
you.
Sometimes if she's, her name is Bird too, Mike, and if the anniversary
true.
goes well, maybe he'll
Right.
flip the bird.
Oh.
Flip the bird.
Whoa.
Bird. Anyway, moving right along. Here's another letter or so. Dear Mike, Rob, Oscar, and those other guys, I'm one of your biggest fans, if not the biggest fan in Reno. This is not a birthday nor an anniversary, but I have something entirely different. A hemiversary?
Hemiversary, I believe.
A hemiversary. My daughter Kennedy, now 6, had a hemispherectomy 5
Exactly.
years ago. Wow. Oh, my God. On April 27th, 2010, that's removal of half of her brain.
Amazing,
Good
right?
Lord. She has recovered and is doing things I never thought she would be able to do. We still have issues that most parents will never have and always will. Well, God bless you guys. But she survived seizure-free. Well, that's wonderful, and I can't even imagine what that must be like to go through that. Of course, while in the hospital for 2 weeks, I listen to TMOS every day. If that's not a way to start a day and get you through the rest of the day, I don't know what it is. Believe me, I needed the laughter at that time. I wish that you guys had the bonus shows then, but they didn't start until a few months later. Believe me, I would have listened to them too, as I am a yearly subscriber and have been since day one. I want to thank you all for putting a smile on my face at a really tough time. Love you guys. I'm including a pic from about a week after the surgery. Isn't she cute? And that's on the next page. Thanks for everything. Lori Quinn. Is it Sanj or
Sanj.
Song?
I think it's Sanj.
Look at that little angel.
Great
Adorable
picture.
kid. So
That
good.
is- well,
Little
Lori,
kid.
I'm going to tell you this. You have officially made my year. That is that's absolutely incredible. And I tell people all the time that I don't care about anything else in this business. It's that kind of feedback.
That's sweet.
It
That,
is.
completely, that's the kind of stuff I will share with my 95-year-old mom today. That's good stuff. Our next letter is, hello, Mike, Rob, and Oscar. I'm asking if you guys could wish my wife, Nikki Judge, a happy 32nd birthday.
Nikki
By the way,
Judge!
speaking of judges, the judge is back in town down here in Cocoonville.
Oh,
right.
well then.
The judge is back in town, and I'm drinking. Yes, sir! Friday night's going to be great. Anyway, her birthday was on Tuesday, April 28th, and I thought that the three of you could sing your traditional happy birthday song for Nikki Judd. Okay, it's fitting since the excitement you guys portray with your song is pretty much the same as my wife's excitement about turning another year older. We love the work you guys are doing, and thanks for the funny. P.S. Sorry for any mistakes with grammar or punctuation. She's the smart one in the house, but if my errors do make Mike irate, let it be known it makes for great radio. But you didn't screw it up, Ryan. Ryan Judge. And this is for Nikki, so let's
Nikki Judge.
sing the birthday song with enthusiasm this
Right,
time.
right.
Here we go. A one, a two, a three.
Happy birthday, Nikki. Happy birthday,
Judge,
Nikki.
Thank you very much. Moving right along. Gentlemen, my dear older brother Luke introduced me to your show back when I was just a wee little tyke who thought you lived inside the speaker of his car radio.
Oh.
Not true.
I have since come to understand that his speakers were far too small to fit three men of your body type, and I was simply being stupid. Regardless of where you actually were then, you have been a part of me ever since. Quite literally, I've named various body parts after each of you. My fiance says my Rob is quite impressive.
Hey. Gotta be his ass.
With that said, I am writing today to ask you to say a few words to my brother. On Saturday, May 2nd, I'm getting married on St. Pete Beach. Oh, that's a beautiful spot.
Nice.
Hope you have good weather. And my brother will be officiating the wedding. I was hoping that you guys could provide Luke with a few words of advice to keep him from screwing the whole thing up. It would mean a lot to both of us. Thank you for the many years of laughter. I look forward to many more with my new wife by my side, probably asking me to turn it off. That's from Charlie Hodgson. So Charlie's brother Luke is actually going to be performing the service, correct? Is that right? Do I have that right?
That is
right.
Any words of advice for Luke, Rob? You're a married man.
I would like to see, since it's a beach ceremony, I'd say really live it up. Go barefoot and wear cutoffs that hang just below the knee, that have a lot of tattered fabric at the bottom. And, really just sort of look like Castaway if you could.
Yeah, beard
Well,
it
Luke,
up.
that's a very nice piece of advice. I personally have a different piece of advice for you, Luke. Since you're going to be on St. Beach, I would wade about waist deep into the water, just walk away from the ceremony, and just act crazy and get everybody talking about it. Just to go out into the water, waist deep, and go, "Shark! Shark! Here's shark! Here's shark!" Anyway, well, Charlie, Oscar, you're not married. I've noticed.
No, but he
that.
likes the beach.
He does like the beach. Any advice you would give for Luke during the service?
Luke is a single man, I take it, right?
Well,
I don't know.
Doesn't
He's
say.
performing.
Does not say.
Maybe he's a minister. I don't know, but he's
well, let's say he's single, right? If he is, a lot of people don't realize this, but a man of power is an aphrodisiac, right? So he's standing up there, and if he wants to eyeball one of the bridesmaids while he's taking care of business,
Wow,
he gets
how about
first dibs
that?
technically.
You may technically be telling a man of the cloth to check out dad ass.
I mean,
that's pretty good.
A pastor can have a wife, right?
Well, certain
Yeah.
certain religions, absolutely, yeah,
and something on the
hopefully-
side. It depends on the religion, really.
And our final letter comes to us from Baltimore. Hi, guys. My husband, Kurt Walker, will be 53 on May 4th. We've been listeners since the WAVA days. We both love your show, and I hope you continue to do it for a long time. It makes him indispensable to me since he keeps my iPod updated with your daily and bonus shows. If you ever stop, well, who knows? I hesitate to ask for a particular person to wish him a happy birthday for fear of rejection, but I will take a chance and ask if Marion Barry's BlackBerry is there. If it's broken, that's okay. Thanks for the hours of entertainment and laughs. You make my commute bearable. Keep up the great work, you guys. Are better than ever. Thank you, Debbie Walker. And Kurt Walker is going to be 53. So let's see if he can come in right now. How are you? Oh, I'm supposed to do it with the phone sound, aren't I?
I think so,
Should
yeah.
I do it with the phone sound?
Yeah,
Let me
okay.
get it right.
Yeah.
I mean, we she was really nice about
Shooting
asking
from the
about
hip.
it. So I thought
Yeah.
that, I thought. but
Not
I
a lot of
didn't,
people have Blackberries anymore,
Yeah.
and also Mayor Barry's dead. So, I mean, there's
Yeah.
really two things that make this sort of a classic bit. You know what it is?
It was
It's a-
close to a perfect
throwback.
mailbag today.
A
actually.
throwback.
It was-
Yeah.
Don't you think it was close to a
Blackberry.
perfect mailbag?
It was pretty
Close.
darn good. It was pretty
very
darn
close.
good.
Oh, it was
very close
seamless.
to a perfect. It was seamless right up until the end.
Mike, it wouldn't be
Didn't
our
get the
show if
heads
it was
up there.
perfect.
That's true. All right,
You
here we
know?
go. Shall we hit it
Yeah,
again?
let's activate the BlackBerry here. I think the problem is that it's an older model.
Yeah.
Needs a software update.
Yeah.
I think we're
You know,
perfectly imperfect.
The iOS.
Yeah,
It
could be.
just was, and I'm not. I enjoyed the mailbag today, so I'm not going to get all that upset about it because
No, it was a nice. It was a feel good day.
But it was. It's us.
There was
it
warmth.
can never be
Yes.
perfect. You know.
No, not at all.
Can anybody in the classroom? Can anybody raise their hand and tell me why it was not perfect?
Oh.
Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Anyone? Anyone?
Oscar
Yes,
would like
Oscar
to start.
Santana. Oscar, yes.
Faulty equipment.
No, that is incorrect,
No?
Oscar.
No.
Oh,
I'm terribly
man.
sorry. Rob Spiewak, do you
Yes,
have an answer?
we were not warned that we would need the phone.
We weren't. That is correct.
Oh.
Yes.
However, we forgot that it was a phone bit. We thought maybe that the BlackBerry
We
would just
did?
come in.
Did we?
We
Okay.
did.
I have a
Very
follow-up
good.
guess.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead, Oscar.
Faulty producer.
Sure. If you
Well,
want
that's
to
a
make it
running
that way.
theme through all mailbags.
Okay.
That's why we
All right.
started like at 92 at the very
Okay,
best.
very good. What's this guy's name? It's Kurt Walker.
It's
Right, go
Kurt.
ahead.
All
Start
right.
it. Now we'll do it.
Hello, this is Kurt Walker's BlackBerry. How are you? I just thought I would tell you, Kirk is going to be celebrating his 53rd birthday on May 4th. Ain't that a bitch? Yeah, growing old man. I grew so old that I died.
Oh, it's sad.
Thank you so much. To my neighbors from the north, calm the hell down. Thank you very much. Mayor Barry out. Hey, Rob.
Yes,
Next time I'm doing a phone bit, you remind me, okay?
you bet, Mayor.
And start the show, you hump.
All right, let me turn you off here.
Thank
Now
you.
we'll start the show.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. You can listen to the Mike O'Mara Show at www.mikeomarashow.com.
Stay tuned for an outstanding entertainment program.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
Let's get down to business. From the entertainment capital of the world.
I was in a relationship for a few years, and I think in the time I was in the relationship, all dating communication went exclusively to text. You can't call anybody anymore. If you call someone, they're like, "What? Are you on fire? Then quit wasting my time. Text me that shit." And I don't like texting people, especially girls. There's always miscommunication that happens. This is a situation I get into all the time. I'll text a girl, she texts me back right away. I text her back right away. She texts me back right away. I text her back right away. She texts me back right away. I text her back right away. She texts me back right away. Then I'll say something like, "All right, cool, so you want to get pizza on Tuesday?" And then I don't hear anything. And I'm like, "What just happened?" "I know you read that. You responded to 20 other things I just said. What, do you not like me anymore? You don't have 2 seconds to say, yes, I want to get pizza, or no, I don't want to get pizza? Would you check your phone into a locker and go ride a roller coaster for a few hours? What's the deal?" And after a few hours of no response, I get real upset. And I just want to send a text that says something like, "Well, guess who just got uninvited to the pizza party?" "You did, because I hate you now." Girl always writes something back. "Sorry, I was at my niece's ballet recital. We had to turn off our phones." "Whatever, we're done. I finished that pizza hours ago. I went with my friend Brian. He's nice to me."
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. Mike O'Mara, Rob Spiewak, Oscar Santana. And now, from his office chair, here's Mike.
Coming to you live from the Cappy Pfeiffer studio in the heart of our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., this is the Mike O'Mara Show. On the air and online worldwide, the Mike O'Mara Show is a daily radio show and podcast with the greatest listeners on the planet because they get it. And if you're here, ladies and gentlemen, you do too. It's that time of year, boys. Are you aware of what time of year it is?
The springtime?
Mother's Day time!
Mother's Day, of course.
Mother's Day is May 10th, in case you didn't know. Do you love your mama?
Yes.
Do you love your mom like I do? Of course you do, because your mom is the best. Well, I've got news for you. Some homemade macaroni art ain't going to cut it for Mother's Day this year. I hate it when my mother sends me that. Anyway,
What?
Mom deserves the best. Luckily, ProFlowers makes it easy with just the click of a mouse. We have been giving away, receiving, giving as gifts ourselves,
Yes.
ProFlowers for years and years. Just for our listeners, dazzle Mom with 100 blooms. That is dazzling. I can
Gorgeous.
tell you that because I've done it before. A free glass vase is included for just $19.99 from ProFlowers, or you can really impress her by adding chocolates and an upgraded premium vase for just $9.99 more. Let me tell you something. You know you tortured your mother. I know I tortured my mother when I drove up to Joey Pasker's house with the satellite Sebring, and I told my father that I wasn't going to use the Apple Hill cut-through because it gets too muddy and the car can get stuck, and then I took it back from Joey's when we got a slight rainstorm, just a slight rainstorm, and I took my satellite Sebring and it went up to the doors, halfway up to the doors, and I had to walk back with muddy shoes, knock on the door, and see my mom sitting in the kitchen having a cup of coffee. She looks right at my shoes and says, "Mike, what is that?" "I took the satellite, Mom, like Dad told me not to, and I got mud on my shoes. But I swear to God, when I'm in my 50s, I'll send you ProFlowers, okay?"
Wow.
Sorry.
You had a really good, clear glance of the future at that moment.
Mom, I'm sorry. We're going to have to call Mr. Richards to get him to come up from the mobile station in South Glastonbury to tow the car out of the mud. I'm really sorry about that. But I will add chocolates and an upgraded premium vase for $9.99 more. Okay, Mom? Because
Nice.
you were that tolerant of me. I'm talking about ProFlowers and rewarding your mom for all the crap you gave her. Go to ProFlowers.com and use the code TMOS. ProFlowers has an easy-to-use website that makes Mother's Day shopping simple and quick. ProFlowers has all you need for all the moms in your life in one place. Order now, schedule delivery, and you're done. And the flowers are guaranteed to be fresh and beautiful for 7 days. You can't miss. Here's the only way to get 100 blooms and a free glass vase for only $19.99. Or, as my copy says, here's the only way to 100 blooms and a free glass vase for only $19.99. Mucinex. Go to ProFlowers.com, click the blue microphone in the top right corner, and type in TMOS. That's ProFlowers.com. Click the mic and TMOS. Order now. This deal expires Friday at midnight. We're going to do another thing that's a little bit fun here. This
cool.
is kind of to help our friends at Pro Flowers, the social media campaign they want to do here. Listen to this. Do you want to win some free Pro Flowers for this Mother's Day? Here's how you do it. This is what I want you to do. Tell us on our Facebook page, the Mike O'Mara Show Facebook page, in one sentence, only one sentence. Do not get verbose.
Yeah, don't give me an essay. We don't want an essay.
If you get verbose, you will lose. Tell us why your mom deserves beautiful Pro Flowers. The challenge of this is to do it in one sentence and be poignant or moving or touching in one sentence.
Or
and
funny. Funny
that's
is
it.
good.
But you have to include only one thing, proflowers.com. And our code TMOS.
Perfect.
Remember that. That's the only thing we want in your sentence, proflowers.com and the code TMOS. And if we like your entry, you will win Pro Flowers for your mamo. Good luck, and
Very cool.
thank you to Pro Flowers. We truly, truly appreciate them. Welcome to the show. Whoa, whoa. It is another day. Last night, I was kind of addicted to the news programs, and I got to say, give props to the city of Baltimore when they deserve it. I think the combination of civic leadership and the police department up there did the best job they could do, and I think that they calm things down. I pray for that city that it's another night of calm, and I hope this thing calms down at a certain point. It's very, very sad right now. You're getting baseball games with an empty stadium. Who's not going to look in on that?
Ghost towns.
How eerie is that going to be?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to watch that. Right?
It's
It's
gonna
the
be
White
weird.
Sox. They're
Very
playing.
weird.
Right?
They play at 2 p.m., right?
I think so. And then they're coming down
Houston.
here. Then they're coming down to Tampa, and they're going to play in the in the Tropicana Field Stadium for the rest of the series. So the judge is an Illinois guy, and he said, "Yeah, it's going to be a home game for the White Sox, and I just have to drive up the road." So he was sensitive.
I think
about
it was. I think Seth Meyers said last night about playing in an empty stadium. It's never been done in Major League Baseball before, but they got a note from the Brewers, and they said you get used to it. So.
Right. Yeah, you do. As far as the Trop is concerned, that's something where it's a different stadium. It's not necessarily popular. I enjoyed it. I think I'm the only one. I enjoyed that stadium.
What makes it different?
It's an old barn, man. It was probably ill-conceived at the beginning. It's
When
a little
was it
oddly
built?
shaped.
When was it built?
I have no idea, but I know that they have rules for fly balls and pop-ups that get caught up in the catwalk because it's a completely covered stadium and it doesn't have a retractable roof. So, but I found it. Maybe I was glad. It's just I loved it. It's like being in a giant gymnasium that's not quite full, and you can hear all the echoes and stuff like that.
Oh, the sound has got to be very strange for a baseball game.
Well, and it's also South Florida, and it's the sports thing that happens down here. They like their sports. They like their Dolphins. They like their Buccaneers. But they don't like them so much that it's going to take them away from people doing other stuff.
Right.
There's a lot to do down here. That's one of the charms of living down here.
Outdoors.
You can have to be outdoors all the time.
Arizona's the same way. Unless the Suns are in the playoffs,
right?
You're lucky if you get into like a packed USA Arena, or you walk into a Chase Field and you're like, "Wow, look at all these people."
It's an anomaly when that happens, and it makes complete sense when you're talking about. Let's use football as an example.
Right.
You're talking about these eastern cold cities. Your Clevelands, your Pittsburghs. People want to get out and drink 70 beers and scream like maniacs because they're slogging it through this crap all week long. And it's the same thing with hockey and to a certain extent baseball. Any city, if it has a losing team for a long enough period of time, they're not going to draw well. But
if it's the
places
only
like
game in
Cleveland,
town,
Pittsburgh.
people are going to make it a destination. But if you're in Vacation Land, USA,
right?
It's another thing. It's no big deal.
It's like, Johnny, you want to go to the game? No, I'd rather go down to the beach and look at sharks, Dad.
Yeah, let's go see sharks.
It's that kind of thing. So it's just weird with Baltimore. I hope things calm down. And did anybody see CNN last night?
I watched
when the police made the sneakiest little arrest on this guy. There was a right after, probably, I'm not sure how long after the curfew, but there was a guy that was walking up to the police. Is it called phalanx? Is that what it's called? The line of officers?
That sounds
that's
right.
what they
I
call
believe
it.
that must be right.
And he was walking and yelling at the media to disperse. Obviously, they thought that this guy had been part of one of the bottle throwing groups before. And you're watching this, and this is where The media is hysterical. These reporters that are all on the scene, and they're all flapping their gums a mile a minute, and they're trying to give play-by-play. And this guy walks right in front of the police, and he's raising his arms, and he looks like he's trouble. He looks like he's going to cause some trouble because he's waving his arms around. And the bottom line is, it is after the curfew, and the civic leaders have been trying to get people off of the streets. That's what they've been trying to do. So it's just an interesting scenario. Suddenly, this Hummer pulls up. This little Humvee pulls up. It's right in front of Chris Cuomo. I mean, right in front of Chris Cuomo, between Chris Cuomo and the protester. And suddenly you see four of these guys with the shields go like that. And then it's like the Hummer backs away, and the guy's gone. They not only arrested this guy, but he vaporized. You didn't see him again. And they said, Chris. And you see Anderson Cooper says, by the way, Chris, did they just arrest that guy that was in front of you? And Chris is like, what? I didn't know it was right in front of me. They obviously trained for maybe trying to get the troublesome individuals off the street in the event that and it was if they did it, if it was tactical. As much as I hate to see people in this situation, it was one of the most brilliant tactical moves I think I've ever seen.
Now,
by the police.
as great as Anderson Cooper is in a situation like that, and he really is great. He's calm. He really he's great doing those on-the-spot interviews with people that are on the scene. And he's really just working with his own intellect.
Yes.
He's standing out there in the street and making this coverage happen. As good as he is, don't you feel that the surrounding reporters maybe not quite so good?
Terrible.
Is it Don Lemon? Is that his name?
Don Lemon, who's the later anchor that comes on and kind of anchors the coverage. I think Don Lemon is,
I think he was so disappointed
very, very
that there
weak.
was nothing going on last night.
Some of the reporters,
I really
you get that
felt
vibe
like that,
from
They
them.
seem disappointed.
Yeah.
Don't they almost when they're when they were doing the countdown to the curfew, I was saying to myself, okay, back the F off. I mean,
If you're
really,
going to do that,
watched
if
it-
you're going to do that, you need to have Dick Clark.
Early in the evening, I did like Lester Holt's report because he's a professional,
Right.
And he showed all sides of the issue, and he had the president of the NAACP and former Baltimore resident there in Baltimore walking around some of the burned ashes and ruins of some of the buildings that came down. And they made a great point, and it's a point we made yesterday, Mike, that they're protesting and rioting are two different things. And Freddie Gray's death has nothing to do with the riots.
Yep.
It really, and he made this, the president of the NAACP, where he talked about that our people aren't. This isn't what represents Baltimore. It's not represents the struggle that some of these the youth and the residents of certain neighborhoods are going through. And I thought that was important to note. And I also, on the other hand, I thought it was important to note that the Baltimore City Police Chief came out and he said that they have to work on really how they police the streets in Baltimore.
Well, of course,
they have to address it. And on top of what the president said, that he said that there is a human condition right now across the country, and it's an epidemic where there are certain police departments across the country that have to reevaluate the way that they deal with their community and the public. And there are communities out there that we have to find smarter ways and give them the tools to address certain problems.
It's
I
amazing.
totally agree, and
it's
not
amazing.
militarize the police as much
Yes.
as we have.
What is it 24 hours can do, because if you think about Monday night, how sad and how upsetting it was to watch what we were watching on television.
Broke my heart to
and
watch
it
that.
really was tough. You add 24 hours to that, and my takeaway from last night, and because D.C. is such a transient city, not a lot of people actually live in the city, and people that do don't live here a long time. What I was just so taken with is that Baltimore people, the people of Baltimore, love their city. And they really, really stand by it. And the people of Baltimore have been the people of Baltimore for a long time and are going to be for a long time. And that gave me a sense of hope. They're not going to give up on this city. And
Last night gave me a sense of hope. Watching
absolutely.
Watching the result of very, very smart people, both the civic leaders and the preachers that were out there as well, and they did it in a coordinated way. And just one last thought on this for those people, and they were all over social media, who were saying, how you stop rioting, you fire a few volleys, and that kind of attitude. That's quite the opposite. I think what you're seeing. You want us to be the Middle East people? Do you want us to see that happen? Yeah, let's shoot a few protesters and then watch what happens to our cities. Okay? I mean, I thought the restraint by the Baltimore Police Department was absolutely incredible. I thought their strategy of showing the force, where you said, oh, look at this. They show the community that they're there and that the law-abiding citizens in that community are safe because they're showing the forces. Look, if this does get out of hand, God forbid, we have the manpower to deal with it. And I was just very, very – I was proud. I was proud like a lot of people said.
Let's talk about a strategy here. Do you feel – and I saw the mayor's press conference. I think it was a little before 5 o'clock.
Right.
Yesterday, and the police department's and the police chief's press conference. And I agree with a couple things. I didn't understand a couple of other things. If you've got a group of teenagers it's what I saw live on Monday, right? Of attacking that police car. I know that they're kids, but at that point they're breaking the law. I don't think you should shoot anybody or shoot shots in the air. But I still feel that just because they were teenagers, someone should have stopped them. That is still my. Oh, I
don't think there'd be very few people that would disagree with
right.
That. And I think you were talking about we were looking at a helicopter shot. Yes. And I think that they probably tried to get to that situation as quickly as they could. I mean, there was once the cops got there, you remember, Oscar, we all watched the same video of that guy that we were speculating whether he was getting, I did too, and whether he was getting the radio out of there or not. And, we all speculated about that, and I think they got there as soon as
they right? They weren't prepared.
They were not prepared on Monday. No way.
Also,
they were prepared last night.
They went in too late, I think. I think they just held off too long somehow. If they'd gone in earlier, they might have been able to quell it. But, hindsight is 20/20. Yeah. I don't fault them. I know they did what they thought was right.
I just feel like the Baltimore mayor may not be the best leader in that city right now.
Yeah, you know what? You never know. And, there were some screw-ups on Monday.
Yeah.
I mentioned in that post Monday night that I'm angry. I was angry at the city leaders for letting the thing get out of hand. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about that now. What they did last night, much better people prevailed, and they got their act together. Let's hope it continues. For all of our friends up in Baltimore, our hearts go out to you for hopefully a peaceful evening tonight, and then more peaceful days ahead, and things getting back to normal in that city. Normal with hopefully some changes to make sure things like this don't happen again.
Better and better.
That's the way I want to look at it. We'll come back and we'll talk about wonderful children's literature right here on the Mike O'Mara Show.
It's Tony and Gary.
Hi, I'm Tony Perkins.
Hi, I'm Joe Lewis.
And on this week's episode, now that is appropriate for two reasons. Number one, on this week's episode, we've got Mickey Ward, famous boxer.
Fabulous.
Subject of the movie The Fighter.
Yep.
Joe Lewis, another great African-American fighter. Gary and I are going to solve all the race problems in America on this week's episode.
That's right.
Actually, we make them worse.
I think we do.
Subscribe to the Tony Perkins Show on iTunes.
I just know we didn't mean it.
The Tony Perkins Show.
We make them worse. This section of the program is brought to you by Cameron Hughes. We tell you about Cameron Hughes all the time. They find the premium vineyards that have a little extra. They buy extra bottles, and then CH Wine sells them direct to you at 40 to 80% off. Cameron Hughes allows you to drink the exact same wine that you'd find at expensive high-end wineries, but you're paying a lot less. Recently, Wine Spectator rated 2 of Cameron's amazing cabs at over 90 points. That's a tough feat, and Cameron did it on 2 cabs priced at under $30.
Pow.
Awesome, award-winning, awesome wine, awesome price. Let me tell you, I've written a song about one of these lots that they have.
Oh, you have a song?
Yes.
Okay.
502, Eyes of Blue, and oh, what that great wine can do. Anyway, sorry. I recently
seen my
wine. I recently drank Lot 502. It's a cab from Napa. I loved it. It was very popular. It's sold out.
Oh.
Except for you people. A small reserve just for our listeners. And my wife's friend Suzanne and our friend, you guys remember Suzanne, she's coming down tomorrow evening. And let the bottles of 502 be open.
Party.
Yes. This week only, you can get this extraordinary cab for 20% off. You heard it right, 20% off Lot 502, my new favorite, and free shipping. All you need is TMOS. The only way to get it, The sold-out cab at 20% off plus free shipping. Visit chwine.com. Click the microphone in the upper left and enter TMOS. That's chwine.com. Click the mic and enter TMOS. You need to try this wine. Quantities are limited, and the offer ends this Friday. You'll thank me later. chwine.com. Welcome back to the show. Talked about this a couple of times. So my son is I have been a part-time dad for two daughters, a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old. And God bless them, thanks to my work and Carla's work and the work of their wonderful parents up in Virginia. They've turned out to be nice little girls.
Marvelous
They're
kids.
beautiful and sweet.
They're both early admission to college, which is just, a lot of people sweat it out this time of year. And my daughters, both wanted to go to the same university. And I'm very, very happy they're going to be together there for a couple of years. It's a very positive feeling I get. I think there's stability in that. They love each other. They're not super ridiculously close as far as unnaturally so, but the fact is that they like each other. They like being around each other.
They've always gotten along, right?
They've always, I mean, as much as siblings can get along, they've gotten along. Having a son, though, all these years later is a different. There are times, gentlemen, and I've never shared this with you on the show. There are times where, like yesterday, at a certain point, I came back from a little power walk, and I normally do 2 miles. And yesterday, I think I said something to Carla like this: "I think I want to do a mile today." And came back because I was chasing around this spider monkey of a son of mine all day long. And it's not that I'm chasing him physically, not that I'm running around, but it's nonstop. There are moments where he doesn't stop moving. He does not cease. The motion never ceases.
Right.
And like, for example, today, before 7 a.m., I read 4 books to him. Now, they were kids' books, but they were 4 books. And probably in his little 21-month-old life, I've lost count of how many repeats of reading, whether it's Make Way for Ducklings, whether it's simple ABC books, whether it's Blueberries for Sal, all the it's just
He's
it's
at that
nonstop.
age. And you know what? And as soon as one book is done, what does he want?
He wants the same book over again.
Right?
That's right. And the thing is, there's one in there called I Love You Forever, which is my favorite. It gets me choked up. I gave a copy of this book to my mom when my daughters were young, and it's very sweet. And one of the nice things about it is it's very brief. Rob Spiewak, when my son was born, I'm not sure what the timeline was, but Rob Spiewak, because he's a nice guy, and both you guys have been extremely generous.
Might have been first birthday. I can't remember when
first
we did
birthday,
the book.
maybe. It might have been first birthday. Rob sends along a children's book. And the Rob, now, are you familiar with this book, first of all?
I glanced at it when we bought it. But
who's the culprit? Is it your wife that's
Mrs.
the culprit
Spiewak,
here?
Yeah, of course.
All right, this is the book. Now, there's nothing wrong with it, by the way.
No
There's
appreciable
nothing
odor.
at all. There's no odor. But this is the book, okay?
It's called Shorts?
Zen Shorts.
Oh, Zen Shorts.
Zen Shorts. It is about a panda bear and these kids. And here's the thing. Carla, when we were looking for it yesterday, walked into the studio and told me we have lost the book.
Okay.
I believe she is lying. This book is, for some reason, tedious. And what you want with a kid's book is you want short little because he doesn't have the attention span yet to linger. This book is a book within a book where this Zen-like panda bear gets visited by these children, and then he says, "Let me tell you a story." And you have these beautiful colored pictures where they're sitting in a little kiddie pool or they're in a tent, and it's like Addie went to visit Stillwater, the big fat panda, and they sat together. And I'm like, I'm down with that.
Yes.
But then Addie sits with Stillwater and says, "Stillwater, let me tell you a story." And suddenly you open up the middle part of this book, and there are 11 pages of this other story, and the book is too goddamn long for a child. It's not a proper children's book, for the love of Christ. And guess what? It's his favorite goddamn book.
Because
and
he's
that's
smart.
the one.
He's
there
smart.
Is no,
he likes it. It's
there
challenging
is no
to him.
escaping the tedium of this book. And Carla feels the same way. And when he comes in, I say, you want me to read you a book? I said, okay, go into your room, grab one of your books. And he comes back, and Carla, you can hear Carla and I both go, Napoleon. He's bringing Zen shorts out again. If I have to read this. Now, the McCluskey books, kind of a close second. You know, you talk about Make Way for Ducklings or One Morning in Maine, where she goes down to the beach because she's got a goddamn loose tooth, and she has a 17-minute conversation with her father about it who's digging clams. I get a little tired of that one, too. You know, it's very, very frustrating.
Now, I know that you are a slave to the copy, and you love to read, and you probably do a great job reading to him.
I am the uber reader of children. I mean, you could hire me. To be honest with you, if I lived in a community where people were actually fertile, I would probably rent out my services as a wonderful reader.
Well, Mike, as people get older, they like to be read to as well.
That's true. I could go into the home and go.
But let me offer this.
Joe DiMaggio reeled in the fish, said Hemingway. Well, okay, what? I'm sorry.
There's a trick that can be used, and I have employed it. It's called skipping pages.
Yeah, believe me, I do that. But the fact
you
is,
ever turn two or three at once? Yeah.
Oh, all the time. I'll do that if I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
What's that?
What about taking an X-Acto knife or a box cutter and cutting out pages of the book?
Ah, there you go.
Even better.
And then, hide them.
That seems so incredibly dishonest, Oscar.
No.
It just, it sounds like such a cheating. I'm sorry.
You don't do it dramatically. You'll take let's say a quarter out of it the first time. Yeah, well, and then the second time you take another quarter out of it. And by the time you're done, let's say the third reading, you'll only have a quarter of the book.
Yeah, 4 readings in, all you have is the open and back cover.
I'll read the flap. Okay,
yes.
I'll read the flap. I used to say this at American University.
I know. Yeah, the ladies loved it.
I don't know.
I'll read your flap.
Let me read your flap
after this next beer.
Yeah, it is me.
And I'll read it in my best children's voice. And incidentally, when I do this, I think this is going to result in employment for me.
Mike would put on his turban at American University and put up his fortune-telling slate and say, "I'm going to read your flap."
You have to be topless for this. That's how it works.
Here we go. When Stillwater, a giant panda, moves into Addie, Michael's, and Carl's neighborhood, he tells them the most amazing stories. He tells Addie the tale of a poor man who gives gifts to a robber. He tells Michael of a farmer who knows that luck can be neither judged nor predicted. Okay, I'm sorry, he's 21 months old.
Maybe,
what is it? Tell me how old he's going to be. I know people at American University in their third year that wouldn't understand what that meant.
Or as they call them at AU, third-year freshman. But I was wondering,
right, thank you.
Does he like it because there's a character named Michael in it?
No.
Does he like it because of the voice you make when you read it?
No,
he likes the pictures.
He likes it because he's got a big fat ass bear. That's what he likes. Stillwater. That's Stillwater. Hello, I'm Stillwater.
What about?
I'm going to piss Mike off by reading an entire book. That's more like a novel.
What about this, Mike? What about you do a reading with Rob of Stillwater, right? And you play it off your iPhone when he wants you to read it, but you just pretend like you're reading. You just mouth along. Then you're not really reading it again, and you could actually probably be watching the ball game while you mouth along because the iPhone is playing the book.
Oscar, it's really not that problematic, but I just had to share one of my little daily frustrations.
It's all about efficiencies, Mike. That's the way I look at it.
What we're going to do, Mike, I'm going to find you a new book that's short. I'm going to send you one of the Olivia books.
And, of course, Rob will love this part. Carla comes in 2 months ago. Well, you know who got him that book?
Nice.
Thank you, Carla,
Rob,
as always.
I just had to share
May
that
you
with
find your Zen center yourself, my dear.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. We got to take a commercial break, but let me say goodbye to Stillwater. Bye, Stillwater.
Mike, where is that book
Goodbye,
going
fat ass.
Since that book has been lost, where is it going to live for the next little while?
In my bathroom.
Oh, God, creepy.
Behind the toilet.
See is the bear.
And he's blurry and creepy looking.
Yes. Oh, dear. Oh, no. Oh, no. No. I was going to make a terrible joke, but it's not the time.
Yeah, that bear is not too Stillwater, is he?
It would fall into the category of too soon. We will take a break. And oh, boy, do I want to, though. All right. We'll take a break, come back with more fun and more thrills on the Mike O'Mara Show. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. I want to tell you about Blinds.com. I use Blinds.com to put plantation shutters in the kitchen. I did that on my own.
Yes.
And they also have professional installers if you prefer to do it that way. I had a project with 96-inch width blinds. I measured them myself, but as far as putting them up, I thought, you know what? I'm going to screw this up. I probably wouldn't have screwed it up, but I decided that I would use Blinds.com's professional installation service as well. And the detail, as far as setting me up with the right guy who was fantastic, was terrific. So now, if you're counting, I've got plantation shutters in my kitchen, and I've got the blinds, blackout blinds, so Mrs. O'Mara can sleep from 11 in the morning all the way through the entire day, till dinner.
Mike, your house is like a casino. It has no clocks.
It's fantastic. Talk to the experts at Blinds.com to get a look you'll love for you. You know, if you're tired of your old shades and curtains, they can help you out. I did my own shutters, and I used them to install the blinds, but I've worked with Josh, my personal design consultant, and he made it a snap, and they have a sure-fit guarantee. That means installation is always perfect, even if you measure wrong. And I know it's probably, for those of you that are handy, you probably say, oh, you measured the blinds right. Well, I did, and I was happy about it, okay? Because it meant getting up on a ladder and doing it, and I did it right. So there, I was happy
Johnny
about
tape
that.
measure.
Little things. Sorry, simple man.
It's fine.
Hurry over to Blinds.com where you'll find great discounts all April long with your favorite brands and upgrades on sale. You got to see the value that's waiting for you. As always, get free color samples, free shipping, free expert decorator advice. Best of all, customer service that will genuinely make you smile. These guys know their blinds and they love their jobs, and you'll love them right back. Blinds.com, as seen in Mike O'Mara's kitchen and now in his BR, in his bedroom. I believe those blackout blinds are probably allowing someone to have a little nap right now.
Yeah.
My son's asleep, and when my son is asleep, Mrs. O'Mara is asleep.
Yeah.
And when I'm done with the show or shows, when we tape two,
Right.
my son is awake the whole day. So he's always awake. So Mike's never sleeping.
No.
At all.
In the overnight,
Ever.
you catch 40 winks overnight, don't you?
I was up at 4 o'clock this morning. I woke
Oh,
up at 4
no.
o'clock.
Why
this
so
morning.
early? Because of the boy?
I don't know. I've been sleeping horribly.
I had a dream about your son last night, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, share me the dream. I'd like to hear that. Was
I
it
wish
good or
was-
bad?
It was. You judge.
It's about me dying.
No, it was. We were at a carnival for some reason, and it was
Like a traveling
it was-
carnival?
It was Mike and I, and he had little Michael for the weekend. So it was like a guy's weekend for you, and somehow we met up.
Yeah, and you
Okay,
met Mike at
all
a
right.
seedy carnival.
No. It
Well,
was.
it probably that now I always put dreams together. I'm good at dream analysis. Oscar has a memory of going out with me and
We're
the
in
fan.
Florida, and we were in Florida as well,
With
you know.
Michael sitting at the dinner
Yeah.
table. He
So that
remembers
was it.
Right.
And then you met up with it might have been Jimmy Cerrito somehow. And you said, hey,
Oh, yeah.
Oscar, do you mind taking care of Michael while I hang with Jimmy? And I said, of course, because I like hanging out with Michael, right?
And Jimmy
Right.
was at the carnival, Mike, visiting family.
So I just
I'm sorry. You said who did we meet up with?
Jimmy Cerrito.
Thank you.
And
Okay,
I just
very good.
remember, and I haven't even talked to you about this. I'm just bringing it up now for the first time with the guys. I remember I had Michael and the first 3 hours were blissful, and it was just fun, and it was awesome. And then I think Michael, like,
I just thought I'd do
French
the
carnival?
transition.
had enough of Tio Oscar, and he wanted Papa, right?
So is he throwing a fit?
So he threw a fit. So I was like, I gotta find Mike. I gotta
Well, let's
find
get
him.
the. All right, so the dream changed. Hold on, let me make sure that's it.
Oh, and it went,
I gotta find Mike and his rusty spoons. So I just remember walking around, and he was in a huff, and then we couldn't find you.
Were you
Where were
carrying
you,
him?
by the way? What was the setting of this dream? Do you remember where you were?
It was like an outdoor bazaar. We were like in the food. I went to the food court to find you. I went to find you.
Oh, okay. All right,
And I was
very
like,
good.
he's got to be eating something with Jimmy
You
somewhere.
know, it's funny, Mike, because it's changed from carnival to bazaar. Because now I'm picturing something in downtown Sri Lanka.
I just remember there were lights streamed.
Hey, that
across
works
at
for
the
me.
top.
All right, downtown Sri Lanka. All right, very good.
Where is
so
Papa?
I know
He's got
what
to be
happened.
getting some kebabs. Let's find him.
How old is Michael? The appropriate age in the dream?
He's the same age he is now. Yes.
Is he walking? Are you carrying him?
I'm
is it a
carrying him.
stroller?
I'm carrying him.
Oh, is he getting heavy?
He's getting heavier as
Yeah.
the hours go by.
Oscar takes his godparent role very seriously, so the fact that this dream has him carrying my son
Yes.
speaks, if I can give you a little analysis so
Appreciate
far, the carrying of my son, you feel a responsibility to him.
Oh, of course.
So in the dream you do it, and you also are carrying him because, well, I'm not going to live forever.
No,
Continue,
I
please.
didn't look at it that way.
Well, I
but
do.
okay.
Thank you very much. Yes, very good.
Do you think the fact that he's getting heavy, does that symbolize that the child is something of a burden?
Yeah,
No, wrong. That's wrong. So I think I'm looking at this positively
All right.
until my untimely death or timely death.
So,
Let's just say death.
we finally, I spot you from a distance. This is going into really the 5th hour at this point. And I'm not upset. I'm worried. And I remember walking up to a guy, the back of a man that looked like you. And I was like, that's a skinny guy. And then a not so skinny guy standing in front of one of those carnival. It's almost like you shoot a gun, but it's a water gun, squirter
Sure,
gun.
and maybe into the clown's mouth.
It's something like that, where you
Okay.
could win something. I was like, oh, he's trying to win something for little Michael.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk up on you and Jimmy, and I turn the corner, and you've got 12 stuffed animals, and you and Jimmy are hammered trying to find out who's the best at the squirt gun game to win as many stuffed animals as possible. And I said, Mike, we're supposed to meet at 3 p.m. What's the story? It's 5:45. And he said, I was just trying to win these for little Michael. And I said, there are 12 cartoon-sized elephants next to you. We can't take all of them in the car. And I remember sitting there, and then you looked at me like, I just love him so much. And I said, you know what?
Was it talking about Jimmy or my son?
That's you talking about your son pointing at the elephants.
Are you sure he wasn't in love with the elephants?
And Jimmy said, do you want me to hold him? And I said, that was it.
Wow.
I woke up the next morning.
That's perhaps a scenario that really could play out. That could happen Memorial Day weekend, really, to be perfectly honest with you, when I'm coming back up there, you know.
I have to tell you that it was it wasn't like a nightmare. It was just a fun, like, why am I dreaming about Mike's kid? Like, that
You
was
love
just
him. You
interesting.
love them both.
You know, I'm on the heels of this circumstance that happened down here today, Oscar, and I felt a little guilty at the moment of bedtime last night. I want to say 7 o'clock. We put him down for night. And I got up, and we have a total routine. You guys have probably seen that. Carla sits on the couch. He kind of comes over to Carla. He puts his hand on her shoulder. We know he's kind of tired, and then he turns around and he gives me this look and reaches out, and then I have this routine where I walk him across the living room floor, walk him into his bedroom. We touch his baby picture, then we touch his football helmet that's on the wall. We've repositioned the clock in his room, so I hoist him up because it's just a little too high. I hoist him up where he can touch the clock. That doesn't work. It's just the second and hour hands on the minute and hour hand on the clock, and then I lay him down in his bed. I give him his little monkey that he slept with since he's been an infant, and usually it goes well. Sometimes it doesn't, but most often it does go well. At the moment that I had the exchange from Carla, I look across the pond down here in South Florida, and across the pond there is a bunch of activity. There are critters on the bank, on the river bank, the pond bank down there, because
So on
the
the other
water's been
side
very
of the
low.
water.
Across the water, they're critters, and I recognize them immediately as otters. River otters that are down here. And at that moment, I deprived my son because that would have been 9:30 bedtime if he had been up and seen that. So I kind of deprived him of that, and then we sat out there. Carla had a glass of wine. I had a nice little shock top, and we watched the show. I at one point brought out binoculars and a cigar and watched this show. It was a mama river otter and 4 of her baby river otters, and they had gotten a tilapia out of the water down here. I think that's the fish. I'm pretty sure someone told me at one point it's a big-ass fish, and
Now,
I'll tell you.
Was it breaded?
It was they simply referred to it on the menu as a whitefish. But
Mild whitefish, yes.
And you've got the babies that are chewing on this thing. And I remember just in my memory banks a story about a kid that went swimming in a river or lake and apparently got too close to otters that were maybe mating or something, and the otter attacked him in the water. And do you remember that story?
But they're so cute.
They are so. They look so little cute.
They look like little slick cocker spaniels. And
Right.
They're out there playing. How big was the mother?
The mother would probably be, I'm going to guess from tail, probably about 2.5 to 3 feet, maybe longer than that. It's big. It's relatively. They're long. They're long, and they're not teeny tiny, but they're the I think they're called the northern river otter that they are down here, and they're all over North America. They're sea otters, I think, out in the Pacific Northwest, but we've got these river otters, and I've seen otters before, and they're fascinating because we're sitting there, and I said, how many people get a chance to sit on their back porch and watch this little show going on? 2 weeks ago it was golden eagles, and now it's this river otter, and they're going to town on this fish. Mama is sitting there, and so we go outside and we walk down the bank, and at this point, Mama River Otter raises her head up, and even from the distance that we're probably, I don't know what the distance would be, maybe 40 feet.
Yeah, but you've
40,
got a body
50
of
feet.
water between you.
Got a body of water, and the river otter is sitting there just going like this, kind of looking around, and we come down and walk down to the riverbank and suddenly see the otter go like this.
Lock eyes on you.
Carla continues to watch. I said, honey, they don't like people, especially when they've got their young around. They probably are not really happy. She's like, oh, and Carla gives me the answer she normally goes, you're ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. Basically calling me the Uber pussy, as I'm sitting there behind her. Suddenly, Carla gets one step on the other side of the riverbank, and Mama Otter is in the water.
Oh, my God.
In the water.
Run!
Underwater. I don't know where Mama Otter is. Mama Otter comes up halfway between us and the other riverbank. I'm like, Carla, get out of there now. Get out of there now. Oh, my God. Get out of there now, please. And she continues to come across at a decent speed.
Right.
By this time, we're back up on the screened-in porch, and Mama Otter comes over to our riverbank, and then we thought, well, this is protecting her young. That's what she said. Yeah. No, she had. They were on their second fish. She comes across the bank, and she's gnawing on this tilapia fish head and just going to town on it like it's a piece of candy, going like that. It was the most fascinating wildlife show. And, I just said, how many people get a chance to see something like this? It was and they hung out till dark, and I'll tell you something. It was the circle of life. The birds were flying around. They had all this activity in the water. Turtles actually were coming over to where this feeding frenzy was going on, and they were getting shooed away by the baby otters. And every now and then you hear this little, and you hear the little otter sounds. And, these otters they look to be a little bigger than babies. Like they're maybe almost ready to move off on their own. But they were teens. They look like ponies. Yeah. And it was just, it was fascinating.
No gators?
We were looking for. There's only one that we've seen in the water down here, so we were looking at that. If you guys, I don't know if you remember this. We sat outside when it got dark, but at night during the spring. Now it's we're approaching. We're into the season where everything's happening down here.
Things are popping.
And at night, it's pretty fascinating just to sit out there on this little body of water. And we're not, would you guys say accurately to call what I live on a lake would be a bit of an overstatement? It's more like a ditch.
Yeah.
It's more like an elaborate drainage ditch. That's what it is. But it's a body.
Mike, a nice one.
A nice ditch. It's a very nice ditch. But it's
a great one.
Yes. But to call it a lake, you're lying. You'd be lying to call. A lake they were called lakes to sell these small little homes to the old people like me.
And also they were selling the homes before the water level was this low.
I know.
It's right on the lake.
So
the pond,
it's right on the lake, and it's a great one. And then, of course, I signed the paper, and the realtors were going, he bought it! He bought it! So it was I am so into this. And if you're into that type of stuff, I tell you, come on down, move to Florida because it's absolutely fascinating.
It makes our story from this morning seem less important. But Carrie had a run-in with wildlife this morning.
What was that?
Is that she's walking the dog, and Linus is as the fact that he will sit and stare outside and bark at anyone that gets within 100 yards of our street. He seems to be oblivious to wildlife. She's walked him by rabbits, and he doesn't even seem to notice the rabbits. And it troubles me because he's just not bright. He's very sweet, this dog, but he doesn't seem to really follow this stuff. Well, at the end of our street, there's a hill that leads up to like some a small patch of woods, right? And at the top of it, there's a hole, and we've always assumed it was a rabbit hole. Because we have rabbits. Rabbit. Give me a whole lot of lumps. Mm-hmm. So there's rabbits in our neighborhood, and we assume that's what it is. So Carrie's walking near the hole today, and she sees something black, something real dark, dart into it, and then dart back out, and she looks. It's a baby fox. Oh. And the foxes are using the holes. Oh, and apparently a baby fox is dark before it gets older and turns red. And so Carrie is very nervous.
And you know what happens when they turn red?
What's that?
they started doing a TV show called Sanford and Son.
Sorry, it's a Red Fox joke.
The
I am
fox
so
turned
sorry.
to Carrie
Sorry.
and said she was a big dummy, which was
You big dummy! Stay away from the hole.
Stay away from the. But actually, you've been, Carrie's been telling you to stay away from the hole for a long time.
That's our policy. But then this is something that I guess is native to our neighborhood: is the person on the deck that likes to call down to you, not actually speak to you, but yell to you from the deck or from a window. It's just on the precipice of being social, but not really. So the lady on the end says, "Yeah, it's a foxhole." Carrie says, "I see." She says, "Don't get too close. The mother fox will come after you."
Leesburg.
He said, "What?" She says, "Yeah, Mother Fox is in there. She likes to protect her young, and she'll come after you, and she'll get him too," pointing to the dog. So we have to really kind of be careful because we don't want the foxes coming after.
Yeah, especially
our
if
dog.
they might be rabid.
Yeah, that's
you know
the
what
bad.
I mean?
Rabid.
Well, you tell your wife when you get home tonight, I've always wanted her in my foxhole. Absolutely. That's a compliment to Carrie Spiewak, everybody.
Red hot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You damn dummy!
We'll take a break. When we come back, it's news you may not need right here on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Hey, Oscar, are you ready to go to CrossFit with me?
I will be in a sec, but right now I'm updating my Mike O'Mara Show app.
Mike O'Mara Show app? What is it?
You have a mobile phone, right?
Sure.
Is it a smartphone?
You bet.
Is it an Android or iOS?
I don't know.
Well, it's easy. Is it an Apple logo or a little green robot?
I always thought it was an orange, but I guess it's an apple.
Okay, so you have iOS.
Okay.
All you have to do is go to the App Store and type in TMOS and hit search.
But is it really worth my time?
Absolutely. It's the easiest way to listen to the Mike O'Mara Show on your phone.
Oh, that Mike O'Mara Show app. It's new and everyone's talking about it.
I updated yesterday, and I love it.
I have an Android. Will it work for me?
Absolutely.
Both platforms. The new Mike O'Mara Show app. Download it and improve your life today.
We love it. Yay!
Yay.
Bring more of those on. And I'm talking about our listeners as well. I love that crap. I really do. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. Here to tell you about FanDuel. News you may not need, brought to you by FanDuel today. Changing the way people play fantasy baseball and making it more fun than ever. Let me tell you something. I need something to make baseball fun when I watch Clay Buchholz get shelled the way he got last night by the Toronto Blue Jays. You can give every single game this season that bottom of the ninth game on the line excitement with FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com is the leader in one-day fantasy sports leagues. They have immediate cash payouts and entry fees that start at just $1. No season-long commitment and no upfront fees. Be like Chris T. in Utah. He turned a $2 entry. $2 is what he put on the line. He turned it into $8,000 on FanDuel. Wow. Join him and over 1 million others who have already won money. Play today, win tonight. FanDuel.com is handing out more than $2.5 million every single day. All you have to do is this. Go to FanDuel.com, click on the microphone in the upper right-hand corner, use our code TMOS, and sign up today. A special offer for new users. For every dollar you deposit, FanDuel will match it up to $200. That gets earned as you play. That's a bonus of up to $200. The offer is only good for the first 50 people that use the code TMOS. Just remember to enter TMOS at FanDuel.com. The offer ends soon, so sign up today. FanDuel.com, where every day, ladies and gentlemen, mark my words, is a brand new season.
News.
Boo. Joni Mitchell is not unconscious.
Thank God, Mike.
Update.
Our top story tonight.
Joni Mitchell not unconscious. Contrary to a previous report, on Tuesday, TMZ reported Mitchell was unconscious and in a coma. Both TMZ and the Associated Press reported Mitchell's longtime friend Leslie Morris sought to be named Mitchell's conservator in a court filing on Tuesday. And here's the quote. Contrary to rumors circulating on the internet today, Joni is not in a coma. That's a statement on JoniMitchell.com. Joni is still in the hospital, but she comprehends, she's alert, she's eating cake. No, I had to say that. I'm sorry. She is alert, and she has her full senses. A full recovery is expected, which is good news.
That's excellent.
And just remember what my wife said.
What's that?
Who is Joni Mitchell? Thank you. Thank you very much. Some of our younger listeners probably saying the same thing. Bruce Jenner has threatened legal action after illegally obtained photos of him wearing a dress outside of his Malibu home were published last week by multiple media outlets. I have, on the show prep every day this week, I have written, we must talk about Bruce Jenner. But do you guys, are you like me? It's like if we didn't talk about it Monday, it just seems to be everybody knows it's really old news.
I think
now,
that book is closed now. I think it'll be a topic again when his new show starts.
Yes,
But,
we find out who his new personality.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Well, he's being very careful, I think, because he's promoting it himself, not to show him in dresses. In the offending and very blurry snapshots, the 65-year-old former Olympian wears a black and white striped maxi dress and holds a cigarette. The poor quality photos made the front page of the New York Daily News and were subsequently broadcast during a CNN segment called Caught on Camera, Bruce Jenner's New Look. So he's pissed about that, and he's threatening legal action. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Though both Christy Scott and Linda Thompson each provided comment to Diane Sawyer for her bombshell interview with Bruce Jenner, in which he came out as transgender, Sawyer said in the interview, and I remember this, anybody that watched the show live, that Kris Jenner had declined to comment. I think we all remember that.
Yeah.
I know I may have made a comment in the O'Mara bedroom. Bitch! But anyway, Kris is 59. She told a different story on Twitter in response to a tweet from Perez Hilton speculating about why Kris hadn't spoken for the special. Jenner wrote in part, "No one asked me to comment." However, ABC is standing by Sawyer. Here is their quote. ABC News sent an email to her publicity team more than once, reads a network statement released to People magazine. They called and said no comment. So if you really want me to think the worst about people, I figure Kris Jenner, sees how successful this special was, sees the buzz, sees all the positive PR, and now the Kardashians are going to fuse to him and maybe try to get him back in the fold. Does that? I hate to be that petty about it, but I think that's what it is.
I'll take you one step further. I bet that purposely Kris Jenner's camp said no comment so they'd have something to talk about after the special.
Yeah, you never know. They are
crafty like that. They're very
Is there
crafty
any
like
machine that is more successful at manipulating social media than the Kardashians? I don't think there is.
They practically invented it.
Right. Iowa state government workers were forced to evacuate the Capitol building in Des Moines, Iowa on Monday after someone's lunch set off the smoke alarm.
Wow.
Iowa news. Iowa news. Iowa news. Alarms went off around 11 a.m. I should just read this as an Iowan. Alarms went off around 11 a.m. when an area near the Senate chamber started to smell of smoke.
Oh, no.
The odor was traced to a microwave and a burnt bowl of Kraft Easy Mac.
Oh, it was Kraft Easy Mac?
No.
It was Kraft Easy Mac that was just nuked.
Big cheese.
And healthy eating in Iowa. We all did it. The evacuation was lifted after 5 minutes. Des Moines Register reporter William Petrosky tweeted a photo of the bowl that prompted the smoke alarm. And it's just the tiny little noodles they have, and it's all just solid black.
What's going to happen
hysterical.
is this story will be buried because of all the contributions and lobbyists from Big Noodle. That is, they're at the State
Big
House right
Noodle.
now trying to quiet this down.
Doesn't that sound like an Iowa news story, though?
does.
It truly
It
does.
does.
I mean, you got the the evacuation because somebody cooked the Easy Mac too long, and then you've got Tommy Lang's new liver. Other than that, there don't need to be any stories in Iowa whatsoever.
Exactly. Now let's look at the national scene.
Exactly. Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. This is a story for anybody that's ever been in a college classroom or even a high school classroom where you've got a professor that really doesn't have it and doesn't have the relationship with his students. I shouldn't even say high school. I think this goes down to preschool, kindergarten.
Any teacher.
You can tell. We've got a Sunday school lady that came in and subbed for the regular lady, and you can tell she just did not have the relationship with the students, and I think it goes all the way through college. There is a Texas A&M University professor. His name is Erwin Horwitz, and he wants to fail his entire class. That's close to 36 students, but the school is blocking him from doing so. Horwitz announced in emails last week to university administrators and to his strategic management class that he would no longer teach the course and would fail the entire class because, here's his quote,
Yes?
"None of you deserve to pass or graduate to become an Aggie." That's according to Inside Higher Ed. The professor said the class was being so disruptive that he couldn't last teaching the course for the rest of the semester, and now a department head will take over. Horowitz told a TV station, or it might have been a radio station, that the class was so bad he needed security guards in the room. Now, you don't think of this in a college classroom.
No, this
you really
speaks.
don't.
This speaks to the professor. This
Yeah.
absolutely speaks to the professor.
All right, here's his quote, all right? And I will try not to do the voice. But
No, Mike,
you
you don't
when
want to
it's-
do it because you're respectful.
Exactly.
Do it for Joni Mitchell.
Since teaching this course, I've caught and seen cheating, been told to chill out, get out of my space, go back and teach, been called an effing moron to my face, had one student cheat by signing in for another, one student not showing up but claiming they did, listened to many hurtful and untrue rumors about myself and others, been caught between fights between students. That's what Horowitz wrote in an email to students published by that publication Inside Higher Ed. Here's his final quote. This is when he sounds a little defeated.
Yeah.
I have nothing left.
Oh, no. Horowitz.
Horowitz told the Houston Chronicle. This is a huge story down there. He blames the school for not enforcing the university's honor code against his allegedly unruly students. I mean, a lot of stuff. I don't know if it's physical fighting. I can understand that being frustrated. But if a couple of students are arguing, he says, I put my neck on the line for what I thought was the right thing to do. We will keep you posted on the saga of Erwin Horowitz, ladies and gentlemen.
Got to be rough.
That's not great. It's a bad day for Horowitz.
Now a little something, something. Two guys in Alaska committed one hell of a pizza heist this weekend, but they learned the hard way that it's a harder road to profit than they realized. 29-year-old John Kuzata and 21-year-old Louis Uzeva of Gamble, Alaska, took a break from having awesome last names on Sunday to break into a warehouse where they stole 80 frozen pizzas worth about $1,100. They gorged on them. I love it when that's in a news story. They gorged, just like the otters on the riverbank.
Exactly.
But once they were full, they still had 75 of the 80 left over, so they decided to sell them, and for some inexplicable reason, they called the police department.
What?
And offered to sell them to the cops.
Bright people.
Unfortunately for Kuzata and Uzeva, the cops knew about the missing pizzas, so both guys were arrested for burglary. On a side note, it should be pointed out that all the pizzas in Alaska are frozen. Am I right, fellas? I wonder if they put them in an igloo cooler. There you go. Plain cheese or moose lovers? Ooh, there we go. If we don't get there in 30 minutes or less, we'll give you a halibut. Anyway, those are all my little jokes. I sometimes write more than one. We'll take a break and come back with the audio vault. Anytime you can get halibut, you know. Good. Funny fish. Rob Spiewak with the audio vault coming up next on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Hey, Rob, whatever happened with that Last Comic Standing audition?
I turned them down.
You also auditioned for America's Got Talent.
Yeah, I got it, but it just didn't feel right for me, so I said no.
Well, what's happening with the regulars?
I'm pretty sure it's in development, maybe.
Well, I'll be at the Baltimore Comedy Factory this weekend.
Well, that's good. You headlining?
No, I'm just hanging out, seeing the show.
All right, we're successful. Rob and Joe Show. Listen every week, robandjoeshow.com. Subscribe on iTunes and check us out on the TMOS app.
For more information, visit us at morebroadcasting.com.
I love those guys. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. This segment of the program brought to you by Sherry's Berries. Dear sweet mother, mommy, mama, mamu, mom. She always let you have the last bite. Now it's her turn to get the last bite with a gift from Sherry's Berries. You know, we've told you about Sherry's Berries.
Yes.
They're as big as a human skull. A good gift will make her eyes water, but the best gift will make her mouth water. Treat your mom, who you treated like crap when you never should have, to something sweet, people.
Yes.
Just for our listeners, giant, freshly dipped strawberries from Sherry's Berries, starting at just $19.99. That's over a 40% savings. All you have to do, we've told you for years, go to berries.com. That's BERRIES.com. Click on the mic in the upper right-hand corner and use the code TMOS. You get these great gargantuan hand-selected berries dipped in white, dark milk chocolate, topped with chocolate chips, nuts, and the ever-popular Twizzle. Boy, it's fantastic, and I you guys will appreciate my willpower.
In what way?
Well, whenever we start a campaign with Sherry's Berries, we usually get something for Dad now.
Sure.
And they were good enough to send me the berries last week. I gave them to our babysitter.
Oh,
We gave it to our babysitter, Carmen, because she is so sweet and nice. So I did that. How about that? I get a pat on the back.
In lieu of
all right?
payment?
Good guy.
Yep. And meanwhile, up in D.C., all the boys are fighting over the berries. Here's the only way to get this amazing deal. Dip strawberries starting at $19.99. This offer for our listeners. Visit berries.com, berries.com. Click on the microphone in the top right corner. Type in TMOS. And remember, that's berries.com and TMOS. Mother's Day, May 10th, so act now. Don't be a jerk. Treat your mom right this Mother's Day. Treat her to Sherry's Berries. And now, without further ado, let's open up the audio vault. That needs to be closed and then open again properly with the right volume level. Here we go.
There you go. Now it's way open.
Rob Spiewak with the audio vault. Take it away, Rob.
Oscar, you love the Uber.
I do.
Do you ever get what I would say, colorful Uber driver, like someone who is more of a showman than a chauffeur?
Different degrees.
Have you ever
degrees.
had anyone sing opera to you?
No, I have not.
This has been all over YouTube. This is a guy who picked up his Uber, I guess you would call it a fare.
Yes.
And then put an opera CD into his CD player and sang to the guy.
All right, you want to know what I'm saying right now? I'm saying, it's very nice. Can you pull over, please?
Personally,
Just pull over, please. I would be like, that's why I don't Uber, because I'm sure you're going to get more and more of these where the Uber people aren't quite right, even though they vet them, right, Oscar? Don't they vet these
They do
people
their
a little
own
bit?
due diligence.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay,
take
thanks
this.
a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'll
That'd be
take
great.
this instead of a guy telling me that surge pricing is on because a drop of rain hit his windshield.
I don't even like it when they have like strolling singers or violin players in a restaurant. Like if you go to an Italian restaurant and a guy comes next to you and sings opera, I hate that.
And
I hate it.
What's really scary is when the guy in the back says, I've never heard this in an Uber before, and he turns around and goes, this isn't an Uber.
Did you see the video that Ray Lewis posted?
Yes, I did.
And I liked this. This is, of course, a former
Great message.
linebacker from the Baltimore Ravens. And
Using his power
I think for
using
good,
his
yeah.
fame for, to get people off the streets. You can't argue with that.
But definitely a very emotional plea here.
No way this can happen in our city. Young kids, you got to understand something. Violence is not the answer. Violence has never been the answer. Freddie Gray, we don't do nothing for him doing this. We with you. We know what's going on. We know the problems. We know there was wrong done. We know we're not getting the right justice. We know all these answers. But riding in our streets is wrong. It's dead wrong. Our future's in Baltimore. What we're trying to build is in Baltimore. Too many babies paying attention to this craziness. And the sad part is, we got young kids trying to tell us how they're going to dictate our city. That won't happen.
And the thing that says to me, people of Baltimore love their city. And
yeah,
I love
and the
seeing
grown-ups,
that.
you know what it is? The grown-ups stood up. The grown-ups, this was it takes a village, man. I really believe that. Everybody, and pray again that we have this situation
Peace.
again, that things continue to go in the right direction and calm down. And with that said, I think this is really important that the city officials make sure that the right things are done to show the community that they are trying to improve the situation.
Yeah.
That's important as well. It's a twofold thing. Don't just like, oh, no more riding. Okay, everything goes back to normal. Let's go to an O's game. No, I'd like to see this at least affect some positive change. I really would.
Here. Positive change might help out Kim Richards. She is from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, and like after the show got off the air, she got busted, right? She got busted at the Beverly Hills Hotel.
Yeah, and she's doing an episode of Dr. Phil this week. They released a promo, and she walks off, Dr. Phil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is
I got to watch that.
Well,
Oh, my
it hasn't
God.
aired yet. I think it airs later this week.
Can I give a little background for
Yes,
this?
please do. Please do.
All right, on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the dramatic tension this year was this lady, Kim Richards, sister of Kyle Richards, the Richards sisters, and she's got a substance abuse problem. And we've noticed for seasons on this show that she sounds like she's out of her gourd occasionally.
Yeah, she's a mess.
Well, it came to an ugly head, and she gets very violent when people call her on it. But then she shows up, and you'll see her going, like my body.
Yeah, she really does
it's
walk
just
in
kinda
sort of a
weird.
figure 8. It's scary.
Yeah. So
She's
there's the
probably
background.
the most horrifying one to watch on the show. Here's
Right.
the promo that the Dr. Phil people put out.
You got arrested just a few nights ago.
I'm beating myself up over this.
What happened?
I poured a drink of vodka and I thought, oh my God, what have I done?
Are you living a lie, telling everybody, no, I've been sober for 3 years?
I locked the door to go to the bathroom.
And the police were banging on the door to get you out.
They
Denial.
were screaming and yelling.
Did you try to kick one of them? You are drunk in a bar at 1:30 in the morning fighting with a cop. That is not good mothering. You need help.
Is this an intervention? I'm sorry, I can't.
And she walks out. So
Oh,
it might be
boy.
worth a look, huh?
Sure.
Why are we
gonna tune
laughing
in.
at her?
Hey, you know what? Dr. Phil had some very good things to say about Baltimore yesterday, too. I
Yeah.
watched some quotes that he had. He seemed to have his head around it pretty well.
Mike's sad. At the age of 71, we lost the architect behind one of the sloppiest #1 records ever made. Actually, I think it only went to #2. It's Louie Louie. Do you know there was actually a government investigation about the lyrics of this song?
Really?
Because no one could understand it when it came out. And this is what the government said. There was an official government FBI document that said the song might be obscene, but it is unintelligible at any speed. True
And what a
story
great
behind
record it was,
Great
baby.
song, and you can Google the lyrics. The lyrics are fine. They're sort of done in a Jamaican dialect. That's why they're hard to make out. But there's 2 reasons you can't understand them. First one is that they mic'd the band before they knew that there was going to be a lead singer. The only microphone that was left for him was mounted to the ceiling, so he had to yell.
Oh my God!
To a microphone on the ceiling. Also, this one I just found out. He had his braces tightened the day they recorded. Wow. Great record. It doesn't happen by accident. Anyway, Jack Eli, dead at 71. Thank you for the music. That is your Magic Audio Vault. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
Buddy, get us out of here. That's it. Another Mike O'Mara show has come and gone, everybody. Be sure and join us again for more fun and more thrills at MikeO'MaraShow.com. If you want to correspond with the Mike O'Mara Show with a letter or package, send it to TMOS, Box 2796, Leesburg, Virginia 20177. If you enjoyed the mailbag and you'd like to get into it, send your little request to Rob Spiewak. That's Rob with 2 B's at MikeO'MaraShow.com. Thank you for purchasing our bonus shows. We need more support on that front. We'd like to get to that elusive 3% number. Jesus. You can do better, people, please. For Rob Spiewak and Oscar Santana, this is Mike O'Mara inviting you to join us again for another episode of The Mike O'Mara Show. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Wait, don't go. I need to tell you that MikeO'MaraShow.com/Amazon is perfect for all your online shopping needs. Shop the best way. Shop Amazon. And please go through our website. Always open at MikeO'MaraShow.com/Amazon.
Mike O'Mara Radio Entertainment.